Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Chris Featherstone once again with another episode of Sportskeeda's Unscripted with Chris Featherstone. So this is going to be a really fun episode as we have always. So this is going to be a great time. Just like we do every single week, we have some of the biggest names for a Q&A for you all. And this person actually I've interviewed before, but I've never done a Q&A with them. But he's actually became a friend of mine, and it's really cool. I love maintaining good relationships with wrestlers that I've interviewed. I've interviewed over 200 big names from WWE, the NXT, WCW, NWA, you name it. But there's a few of them that I still become a good relationship with post. Just my interview, and this is definitely one of them. He is Mr. Technical. He's also the winner. He is, without further ado, the greatest technical wrestler that ever laced up a pair of boots, ladies and gentlemen, and can nobody tell you different. Barry Horowitz, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. I got one thing to say. The doctor is in the house.
Yes, yes, he is. Absolutely, man. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing real good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's great to have you tonight on the show, man. And we're gonna have a great time as we do every week. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I think we're both looking good.
Indeed, man. Absolutely. Good stuff, man. Well, it's great to have you on the show. Of course, this is Q&A-ville, man, as we do every week. And let me get my camera together. Anything fun today?
No, just another long day in Mr. Technical's life.
That's right.
That's technically speaking, by the way.
Technically speaking, yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. All right, let's jump right into the questions here.
Sure.
Ablash is asking, hey, Barry, you worked in both WWE back in the day. Do you have any interesting backstage tidbits involving Vince or Eric that you would like to share from us from your time in either promotion?
Nothing really. Nothing at all with Eric Bischoff. I think I thanked him for signing off on my contract and for WCW. I think he just blew me off or whatever. I guess I'm not a so-called superstar in his mind. Much more respect with Vince. If I spoke to him, if and when I spoke to him, he was always constantly busy, and he's a mad scientist with the TVs. So I did take a couple of jugs of water from his and some turkey from his dressing room one time. That was put up to. I was put up to that, and actually he participated also, was Mr. Perfect. So it was legal, everything was fine. So everybody knows now I took turkey and water.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Pat yourself on the back.
Of course.
Elvis is asking, who is your favorite person to share the locker room with and why?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. Elvis, not in Presley, right?
Thank you very much. No, not in Presley.
That was good. That was good. I'm going to say, wow, that's to share the locker room with. I don't, that's, I'd have to really, I mean, Chris Candido and Owen Hart, Barry Darso, and Reno Riggins. Name a few. I mean, we were all in different locker rooms. Sometimes they were subdivided into just two wrestlers, or sometimes it was just a big jumbo one. But I love being in the locker room with Don Morocco and Jimmy Snuka. Just lots of props and respect to them, and they've helped me during my young career.
Nice. Let's see. Let's start with let's go with Philip is asking. You haven't changed a bit. I love watching back in the day in the WWF and WCW.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
He said you haven't changed a bit. I love watching you back in the days in WWF and WCW.
Oh, well, thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. I mean, I train 6 days a week, and the only difference is I'm not traveling. And I'm not in that ring, taking a lot of bumps and taking a lot of abuse to my body that I did for over 30 years. So it's, sometimes you gotta put the car on cruise control or in the garage for a little bit, but you still got to take it out for a cruise and keep the uptake and maintenance on it, which I think I'm doing well with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stan's got good questions, Doc.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah, these it's a great time. I mean, every week, man. I really, it's one of my favorite nights because these fans have some really, really good questions. Ricky keeps asking me if I interviewed you before. Yeah, I interviewed Barry before in Pancakes and Power Slams. Riju's asking, you were around for the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Goldberg. Do you have any memories of that era?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I got a ton of memories. I mean, we'd have to have another show to have somebody's memories. I've only met Goldberg a few times and wrestled him once or twice. As far as Steve Austin, I've seen him. I knew him from WCW, WWF, and I think I've only wrestled him once or twice. I wrestled him in Madison Square Garden as the ringmaster when Ted DiBiase was his manager. But as far as those little stories go, that's as far as it goes. Because remember now, I see him in the locker room. Never traveled with him before. I traveled a lot with. I mostly traveled alone, to be honest with you. And if I did travel with certain people, it was I always circled myself with people that are similar to myself. Want to hit the gym and get to bed early. Wasn't into the bar scene or the party scene. It's all about business, and basically, even though it's a work sport, I treat it as a work shoot. And I get that just from my upbringing and also from amateur wrestling. So I think it's good to incorporate the two. It keeps you stable, it keeps you motivated, and it keeps you on the straight and narrow, because I'm not into the left lane, the rock star lane. Just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here now. That's why I'm now.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Virginia's asking who trained you.
Oh gosh, the best. My mentor, Professor Boris Malenko, and his sons, and
Nice.
along, also partaking in the training was also time to time Carl Gotch would show up, and also
Mm.
Carl Stronheim.
What city and state?
That was in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, I thought it was in Tampa. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What was your first year in the ring? Your very first year?
my first year in the ring. I'm trying to think. It was for Boris Malenko for indie shows. We would just do shows in the state of Florida. Anywhere from Tampa to Jacksonville, any part of Florida we would go to. That was my first professional matches.
Yeah. Remember what year? Your very first year?
Uh, I'm gonna say 80 or later 79 because I started with Vince Senior in the WWF in 81.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Even though
Corey.
I'm dating myself, but a lot of people they go, "Wow, he's old or something." But that's why I guess I care about my training and everything so much because I don't want to fall in that typical stereotype. Wow, even though he's not working no more, or how he looks, or I'm around, or I'm not in a wheelchair, or I'm not this or not that. I like to just keep myself up no matter what. So when the fans do see me at these meet and greets, especially these big ones, WrestleCons and the ones at WrestleMania and the big events and stuff like that, they really appreciate that.
Yeah.
They really do because the fans are much smarter now than they were 20 and 30 years ago.
Sure.
They have a respect, and who was always ahead of that was the fans from Tokyo, also England, Germany, Austria. They were always ahead of that, and then the United States caught up, and now they're catching up, and well, they're caught up, and it's really nice because they really respect you, and I respect them for respecting me.
For sure.
Because
Absolutely.
fans are important, and they treat me good, and I like them, and I hope they like me as much as I like them.
I'd say so. Yeah, your first recorded match is October 13th, 1981 against Angelo Mosca. And,
Oh,
at the Agriculture Hall in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
yes. That was the first night that I walked into that locker room, Doc, and I swear to you, I mean, every Bob Backlund was the champion. Blackjack Mulligan was there. Bob Orton Jr., Mr. Fuji, Mr. Saito. I'm probably missing people. Sweet Hansen. Wow, I think that's the night I first met Jose Luis Rivera, aka Conquistador, Johnny Rods, Jose Estrada, Don Morocco. But that was my first match in Ag Hall, and I've been back since then. In fact, I was at a meet and greet there about 7 months ago, and also worked, was a spot show for Vince Jr. But yeah, Angelo Mosca Sr. And the second match may have been Don Morocco. I'm not positive. But that match with, I was only 21. That match with Angelo Mosca Sr., Big Nasty, whatever you want to call him, that match was stiff. That was a stiff match. Yeah.
You were billed as Barry Hart. Very
yes.
Very,
yep.
All right, so let's go into, let's see. Thoughts on Percy Pringle III and Paul Dangerously as early managers?
Percy was a good manager, helped me with promos. I think he forgot about me once he started managing The Undertaker. And became Paul Bearer. Yeah, I know. I'm just being honest, and I don't like to talk about anybody that's passed in ill matter. Paul Heyman was my manager in working for the Jarrett Company, Jerry Jarrett, and
USWA, right?
Yes, USWA. And whatchamacallit, he was sorry, my cat is is driving me crazy here. I got like 20 cats, by the way.
Oh, do you
So,
really?
yes, I do. This is
Hey,
that's
nice,
Casper. Yeah,
nice.
I've got about 20 cats. So anyway, yes, Paul Lee was my manager, and yeah, I didn't again when he became with ECW. Never heard from him again, so I don't know. Especially when I was told by this is really a cool story. I was told by Skip, aka Chris Candido,
Mhm.
he worked for ECW for a few times,
Oh yeah, triple
and
threat.
yeah, he said when he was working for them, in the crowd was chanting Horowitz, Horowitz, Horowitz. You would think Paul Lee would catch a clue and
Yeah.
book the match, and Chris never understood that either. I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe I got heat with him or something. I don't know, and I really don't care. I mean, come on, I remember when I was driving in the car with Paul Heyman back in '85 when he
Mhm.
had a perspective. He had a Tombstone was his guy. I don't think the guy lasted too long in the
Mhm.
wrestling business,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's he managed in Florida a little bit when Kevin Sullivan was there.
Mhm.
So
Yep. They was asking who was the best ribber and what was the best rib in your opinion?
oh God, I don't know. Depends
Owen
on
Hart is usually he usually gets the crown as the best ribber. What are your
yeah, he does. You know, he did some ribs, but I didn't know about half of them, and I just heard about a few months ago.
really?
And the big ribs would be bulldogs,
Yeah.
and of course, Mr. Perfect. And I'm
Mhm.
sure there was whatchamacallit, there was some others, but they were the silent ones. You didn't know about them, or they'd blame it on somebody else.
Can you think of one?
Think of a rib?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got a real good one. This is when I was Barry Hart, and I remember I was in a locker room, I think in New Jersey, and I remember buying I don't know if you remember this name, a sweater called Oli Casino. Oli Casina. It's
Mhm.
a it's I'm going back in the day. It was really nice. It was a um it was a peach sweater, and it was I really liked it, and I had it laid out. And I came back from my match. First of all, my ring jacket was gone, and I don't think I've ever got that one back. But there was ink all over the sweater.
Uh-huh.
Now, normally, that's where I learned you don't put over a rib. I think
Right.
I told somebody or something happened, and I don't know what happened. I told to somebody, and when I came back and showed it to him, the sweater, it was gone because it was in that trick invisible ink. And
Yeah.
Kurt told me him and Eddie Gilbert did it, and it was a big rib and blah blah blah, and that was it. But yeah, I think that's the main ribbers. There was more, I'm sure. Like I
Mhm.
said, you really didn't know, but as far as the big names, it would be Mr. Fuji and the British Bulldogs. They were the big
Mhm.
ribbers, and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've heard of big ribs too. Like I think I heard of one time where they Outback Jack he put his hat on and it had super glue.
Oh.
And he had to pull his hat
Oh.
off, and I think it pulled his hair and his
Oh.
skin and everything else. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. These are some of these ribs are just outlandish.
Yeah.
They're not good. Or cutting, a three-piece suit and making it sleeveless, or
Yeah.
back in the day, the Halliburton suitcases chained them up and put them on the ceiling of a building that the ceiling was probably, I don't know, 30 feet high or something, 20
Mhm.
feet. You got to
Mhm.
get the maintenance man to get it down. And,
Yeah.
so yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Let
Virginia's asking, did you work with Sid Vicious?
me try to think. I don't recall working with Sid at all. I've traveled with Sid back in WCW, and WWF, but I don't think I've ever worked with him. I think I would remember that. I mean, yeah, I don't recall that. I don't think so.
Got it.
Yeah.
He's asking, are all the stories about Shawn Michaels and the Clique being disrespectful towards members of the WWF locker room true? That's a good question.
It's a good question. I never experienced that. And I mean, certain people are into their own thing, but Shawn was a wise guy sometimes. So was Kevin. They all were, but not that I know. I mean, didn't direct it towards me, or if they were ribbing, I mean, some of these guys will rib and not fess up to it. So you don't know who's doing it. Who are you going to blame? And you can't just go pointing fingers. You can't accuse people if it's not, you know what I mean, true. But I don't remember having issues with them. If anything, it may have been verbal jostling, and that's about it.
Now let's talk about the curtain call real quick. Now the curtain call was what, 96, wasn't it? I believe the curtain call was 96. And your big SummerSlam match was what, 95?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, SummerSlam '95 in Pittsburgh Civic Arena.
Got it. Yeah, curtain call was. I'm almost positive the curtain call was 96. I remember. Yeah. Yep. May 19th, 1996. So what was so that was still your time that you were there, right? As far as where the curtain call around May of 96, you were still contracted with the company, weren't you?
Yes, I was until '97.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience as far as just the curtain call? What was the backstage kind of reaction toward that?
I think I really don't know. I mean, I think everybody was impressed with it, and maybe I deserved my final break or my big break, if you want to call it that. And I don't know. A lot of people were respectful, and some didn't say nothing. You got everybody's thinking that you're going to steal their spot or some jealousy or insecurities. I don't know. I wasn't worried about it. They don't run my life or pay my bills. So, I'm worried about Barry Horowitz, getting over and progressing to the next step. And it did work. I was almost in every pay-per-view. I was captain of my team at Survivor Series. So, it went on and on for a while. Royal Rumble in your house matches.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Now, what about the Clique, Michaels, and that big curtain call in Madison Square Garden in '96? What was the reaction toward that like backstage?
Oh, are you talking about where they did something in the ring?
They all hugged together.
Where they hugged and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I
Paul
don't.
and Nash were leaving for WCW, and
Yes.
so Triple H and Michaels they stayed. So reportedly, Triple H actually got the blow out of all that and didn't win the King of the Ring that year. He was supposed to win the King of the Ring, and so Michaels
got punished.
Yeah, Triple H was the one who got punished for it. Hall and Nash left; they went for WCW. Michaels, he didn't get punished, and then Triple H got Triple H got punished for all of it. So in the long run, he didn't, because he's head of NXT, but he's the one who actually showed the most longevity out of all of it. But yeah, that's according to what it is. So I'm interested to know, just being a part of the roster at that time, just what the mood was during around 96.
I don't think I was on that card. There was an A card and a B card. I could have been on the B card. I could have been off, or I could have been on early and left and didn't know about that. And if I did hear it, what are you going to do? Oh, okay. You hear a story and stuff like that. And, what are you going to say? You just talk about it and what have you. But I do recall it, but I don't know where I was at that time and that moment.
Got it.
So
Mark is asking, where did the slap on the back first come from?
Oh, wow. That's a long time ago. That was basically when I was wrestling amateur. I did do it as a joke and got heavily reprimanded from the coach. And I think I may have even got points deducted from my match. Back then, it wasn't a cool thing to do, but I always put that in my back pocket. And when I progressed in pro wrestling and wanted to be a heel, and I decided, my gimmick is wrestling. You know, I got that from Chris Candido because he said it one time. He says, I got no gimmick. My gimmick is wrestling. So, and I do agree with that. So it was that, and this, instead of just being a technical wrestler, you got to add some flavor to it. And the pat on the back, you know, before a great suplex or after a great suplex or after a great win or good victory, it really pours on the heat. People don't see that. And to this day, they recognize it. It's on my shirts. It's on the back of my shirts. By the way, ProWrestlingTees.com has plenty of my shirts. They have 4 or 5 different ones. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Absolutely.
But my jacket had the hand on the back, and people love it. And to this day, they talk about it and use it for a punchline, or they'll say it as a joke, and they in a complimentary way. Yeah. So obviously it got over because it was different. Nobody else was doing it. And I think I caught 1 or 2 people doing it on some TV. I don't know who did it, who the wrestler was, but it's fine if you want to do that. But when you do that, first people they think about is me first, and then you're a wannabe. And I've never been a wannabe. I mean, everybody may do a different suplex or a same suplex, but when you do something, you know, really spectacular, like when you come out and you're like this and your hair is wet and you got the sunglasses on, you're thinking of Bret Hart. So you don't do that. Yeah. You see what I mean?
Right.
See,
yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yep.
So
all right, a few minutes left. This is a good question. Did you have any plans on WrestleMania weekend before they got canceled?
Yes, I was booked heavily. It actually would have made my rest of my year. I mean, I had some really. I only lived 45 minutes from the venue, and I was booked on some major meet and greets at the Armory. I would have been busy for probably a good 3 to 4 days all day. That's a lot. That's a lot of PR work, and I was really looking forward to it. And yeah, I mean, it's a shame. It's really because that thing would have been spectacular in Tampa, at the venue, and Tampa alone is a sports town. I mean, it's quite obvious. We've got TB12, we've got wins with the Bucks. We're headed to the Stanley Cup. So why not WrestleMania there? I mean, that's
first time ever too.
Yeah, it would have been great if it did happen, and then you follow with the Bucks, and then you follow with the Lightning. It just makes Tampa spectacular.
Agreed.
I mean, it does, but it's a shame that it got canceled. But what are you going to do? I mean, this is part of life and Mother Nature, or whatever you want to call it. It's not like we need to get a different building or something like this. This had to be. I mean, we're
especially
about a major virus.
Especially a building that can, they really had to improvise. It went from 80,000 to nobody. You know what I mean? Like that, they had to change production from 80,000 people to no one. You know, and that was, you got to give it up for WWE to call it on the fly like that, man, for sure.
I would say that other wrestling companies did too. The NFL, the NBA did it. I mean, a lot of people have did it, but I know where you're coming from as far as my profession and my genre, the wrestling. Yes, I do agree.
Yeah, but NWA, like NBA canceled, March Madness canceled. You know what I mean? Like
that's true. You're right.
They canceled the whole season. And WWE they just went with it. So I got to give it to them for that for sure. All right, one more question. Let's do. There's a couple good ones. Okay, let's give me a lightning round for 1 minute here. All right, 1 minute lightning round. How was it fighting against Brian Pillman in WCW?
Oh, great, excellent.
All right. I remember you famously beating Skip with the Body Dynasty and teaming up with Hakushi. How did that push come about?
Wow. They just, I guess, I really don't. They just incorporated Hakushi with that. I don't know the behind the scenes with that, but I don't think he was involved in anything. And to put him with me, we did We did a Karate Fighters commercial, the Karate Fighter toy. I think it was by Hasbro.
Yep.
We did that commercial. We tagged. I think I went against him. He helped me. I think at the SummerSlam, he did interfere a little bit where I got the small package in on Skip. So I think it was whoever thought of that. Remember now, I'm not in those booking meetings, so you're not even there in the background, so you don't really know. You just hear of different hearsays. So I don't know the real invention of all of that, even my own gimmick.
What was Jim Cornette like behind the scenes?
I only saw Jim. I saw Jim mostly in NWA, and I saw him in WWF, but not too often. He wasn't on the road and just at TV, but he's busy with Vince. I can say that I got to give props to Jim Cornette, his podcast. He was putting me over heavily as a professional and as a human being. About a month and a half ago, I was told through the grapevine and also my Facebook. And so I have to thank him for that. If he's listening or it gets to him, I give him props. I appreciate it. It's all true anyway.
All right, 2 more quick questions. Do you think that Hogan versus Nash finger point of doom ruined WCW?
Oh, I don't know. That's almost like I don't know. I don't know. It's like I don't know really about that. I wasn't involved in any of that. And when I hear stuff like that, Chris, I don't really put thought into it. It's a lot of ha-ha and gaga, and I pay attention to more of myself and my career or a friend or something like that. And I've heard a lot of stories about all of that. I've heard multiple people with Hogan and with this guy and with that guy and this guy. People just need to worry. Just my favorite saying is, especially if you're wrestling, just get the match over. Get the not get it over quick. Get the match over.
Right.
Instead of worrying about, oh, do I get my stuff in? Do I get my clothesline in? Do I do this? I mean, if you're worried about shooting, like I said, go to UFC and then worry about your win-loss record. Yeah. Otherwise, get a clue that, it's half shoot, half work, and we're in a make-believe world here,
Yeah.
I normally don't use those terms, but it's 2020 now, and I can, because if I'm trying to pull a fast one over you or another wrestler or the fans, that's not cool because they know what's going on. You're better off telling the truth and being honest and upfront.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I am.
Last question. Hi, sir. Have you expressed interest in working as a mentor for WWE? Which current WWE star impressed you the most and why?
Wow. Well, first of all, as far as mentoring, that is my next step and probably the end of all the notches that I wanted in my, so to speak, belt, as far as getting into wrestling and doing this and doing that. That is the last of my accomplishments. I would love to be a mentor or a coach for a major organization. They know it. I've had feelers out there. I mean, my resume speaks for itself. I don't have to, hey, give me a tryout and this and that. I mean, come on. It's almost, this would take another 15 or 20 minutes to explain the situation, which I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
But I would definitely love to do that. And as far as you said, a WWE star, what was that last?
Which current WWE star impresses you the most and why?
Oh, WWE star impresses me the most. That's hard. I'm going to say AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and most of the guys that are on the roster that could wrestle similar to what I'm doing. I like they reinvented AJ with his new look. He put more muscle on. His promos are good. He's really doing well. He came from a big step from the Indies to TNA and up the roster. So good for him. Yeah. I've only met AJ once, I think, at an indie show in Georgia a long time ago.
Nice.
But yeah, that would be. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a few people. I don't watch the whole 2 hours, 3 hours. I've seen different guys there, and there's really good prospects in NXT. And probably my favorite, because I'm just I'm just a fan, and he's not there anymore. But when his heyday is Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's an easy person to have be a favorite for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thanks, man. Here's my last thing for you, Barry. Before we go, why should Barry Horowitz be in the WWE Hall of Fame? Let me give you my Vince McMahon. Why should Barry Horowitz be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I think I'd have to get in his face right now if he said it to me like that, with that arrogant spitting in my face, or he'd probably want me to take him down or shoot clothesline him or something, because I think he likes that.
Come on, Barry. Tell me.
Yeah. Maybe a poke to the eye, Northern Light suplex, something. Throw him into the wall, choke him out. I don't know. Maybe I'd get a job doing that. I don't know. You know? Wow, what the hell? Yeah, I've had numerous people say that to me on Facebook, and my simple answer is, I mean, it's hard. They really want a straight answer, and my straight answer is two parts to it. Is I don't know, and why don't you go ask Vince, because he made all this up.
Well, the question is why should you be in the Hall of Fame? That's your
why
should you?
Oh, wow. Okay, why should I be in the Hall of Fame? I think after 20 or 30 years in this wrestling business and giving it my all, and as far as my background, as far as treating it like a shoot, showing up on time, giving 150% all my matches, trouble-free. You could always depend on Barry Horowitz. He goes with the flow, and it's not in a sissy type way that I just job scared. I'm doing my job, so to speak. Okay, somebody else could do it if you don't want to do it, and I don't care who you are. Everybody gets beat. There's got to be a winner, and there's got to be a loser. If you listen to Jim Cornette's podcast, in a short note here, he just basically said Barry Horowitz did his job too good. So maybe that wasn't the reason. Maybe that was one of the reasons, because there's other guys that were up there with me too, and then there were some that were not. And I'm grateful for my break and getting recognized. I wish it was more so, but if you got Kid Rock and Bob Uecker and Goldberg in the Hall of Fame, I think I should be there. I'm sorry. No, I know I should be there. Okay. And another thing, if my job was star maker, so to speak, if you want to call me that, well, I could make stars, and I could pull out a 20, 30-minute house show match with Owen Hart, and you'd think I'm whatever. You'd think I'm a superstar or Shawn Michaels or whatever you want to call it. So, I made the Ultimate Warrior look like he could really wrestle. That was a chore in itself. So give me a break, and some other guys too. But I'm not complaining. I'm glad I was picked for that. And if I wasn't, and you just throw anybody in there, they're not going to put butts in the seats. Okay, and he's not going to draw, and he's not going to get over, and he's not going to look spectacular. Yeah. And then when you do put me in there with a Bob Backlund or Bret Hart or Owen Hart, we're going to have a really solid match. It's going to be unbelievable, and it normally was, and I enjoyed it. I loved it.
Good stuff. Well, you've got people who agree. Virginia says yes. Joey says yes. Barry, it's been it's been a great night, Barry Hart, and I'm glad to,
all right, Doc.
You got any? You want something? You want anything to promote before we? Yeah,
if you don't mind. I did say ProWrestlingTees.com, and also my Facebook, and also Cameo.com is huge right now. It's blowing up every day with me. It's really doing well. YouTube is really doing well. Also, I'm on WWE.com, and I wanted to leave with this. There's a lot of so-called great wrestlers in the wrestling business, but Mr. Technical Barry Horowitz wrestles great. That's a shoot. Yeah, this guy right here. This looks Chris.
Yeah,
that's it.
Nice.
That's it.
Good stuff, man. Well, it's a great time, Barry, as always, man. And thanks for being on the show tonight.
Well, thank you, Doc. And I hope you could now take your doctor 2-hour lunch break like my doctors do.
Sounds good, man. Hey, that would be great. And still get paid a lot of money. I'm in for it,
That's
man.
right. Yes, exactly.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Barry. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on here. It was a pleasure.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.